Healing modalities. You're having somebody come for Reiki next Tuesday. Okay. If this resonates with you, take it home with you. If it doesn't, leave it here, put it on a shelf, whatever. My thoughts on this, and I don't know how your Reiki teacher's going to handle this, but how it's been shown to me. I have modalities. I have a binder full of modalities. I have been doing this a long time. We are coming into a place where modalities really are not really longer required. When children come in and they know you're not well and they put their hand on you and that pain goes away, did they go and get a Reiki Master Certificate to know how to do that, to fix that, to change that? No, they didn't. And what's happening is we are evolving and we are learning how to heal. We're learning how to heal on all levels, etherically. Dysfunction, disease, blah, 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 blah. It oftentimes isn't in here. It doesn't start in the physical. It starts way out in the etherics before it gets into you and it's manifested into the physical body. So when you talk about sound, tasting sound, hearing sound, feeling sound, knowing sound, people are now working with sound in healing modality to open you up to do all of that. That does not surprise me. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. I can talk a lot, sorry.
When you say that we're not all from particularly this planet, are we karmically tied to anything other than our own energy?
No.
Okay. My second question is, who set this? Who set up these structures? Like you get a council and you get things like this. Where did that come from? How?
To be honest, I would have to say that's my illusion of what it is to be on the other side.
Okay.
Everybody has a different take on that, but the thing is that oftentimes people, I don't know, I haven't talked to really many people who've died. They probably would see the same thing because that's what we're comfortable with. Could you imagine going up there and not knowing what you're seeing? It'd be like a nightmare. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to go there. But they usually make it so that it's comparable or it's an assimilation of something that you can handle to see on the other side.
Okay, something your subconscious wouldn't like.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually comfortable. It's a warm, inviting, good place, right? They wouldn't want to have like headhunters up there. That wouldn't be cool.
So then hypothetically, if we're seeking experiences that are far beyond our capabilities of handling it, like let's say for example, we wanted to have something extremely visceral in our interface that shocks us and not be like, saturated by this whole, oh, I'm afraid this council is kind of my comforting way of seeing things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that would actually happen? So
you can manifest anything.
So do you think that through death, we actually experience more what we're expecting to experience or more of a system that we think exists?
I think that's almost backwards. And the reason I say that is because we create the illusion in the human experience. So when we're dead or when we're in that death state or we're in that soul space, I believe that's who we truly are. But when we come into the carcass and we come into the thickness of the human body with the brain and all of that, I think that's when we get that confused. Or we create the illusion of whatever it is that we need to do or why we're here or whatever that is.
Similar to like Valhalla or like a Hall of Your Ancestors or something? Like
yeah, kind of, but
without
no.
getting into like all the esoteric nonsense? Same idea kind of?
Yeah, in theory.
I mean, yeah, like I think it was Anton LaVey, I think. He, like when you're talking about like, what Justin's saying, like what do you see when you go past? Like theoretically, like this idea of like, which religion's correct, like once you pass, like technically they all are correct. Like if you're like, Hindu, you'll see the Hindu gods. If you're Catholic, you'll see what you project. Like it's that whole idea, like even in astral, like what we were talking about last time, like our subconscious projects in front of us. So like it would be similar to that, whereas like what we expect to see, like it sort of meets us halfway sort of thing,
And we're all energy. Like we just do what's familiar or what we know, right? And when we talked about being in, like from a different planet or all of those things, if that's where you come from, that's what you recognize. Like you'll see that. Do you guys all know about your reptilians and Pleiadians and all of that, right? So you recognize them. So if you're walking downtown and you see the reptilian, chances are I'd be looking at where you were reptilian before, because you see it. You acknowledge it. So you obviously have seen it, or you know what that is to actually acknowledge it.
What's this
So-
about reptilians?
Oh, reptilians.
Geographic.
Tell us more.
Lord Jesus.
Seems like everything we're touching is
Pleiadians.
5-hour lecture.
It's another
Yeah,
5-hour
absolutely.
thing. But yeah, so if you're recognizing them for who they are, why? How do you know what they look like if you've never seen them before? Obviously you have a knowing, and that comes from somewhere. So chances are,
So, do we change at all, like as our true selves from life to life, or is that just like the duality? Sometimes you're a benevolent sort of, I don't know what you're saying, I'm trying to follow. But,
okay, what is it you're not following? What does they say that
well,
doesn't?
I've always gotten the idea that certain things, like if you want to talk about reptilians,
Okay.
usually talked about in a very bad light,
Okay.
so to speak. And like, how would that relate to like, you know, we all think we're just very nice people. And,
Oh, okay, well, here's my thing. Okay, reptilian, you're a reptilian. Who cares? You are who you are. You're here doing whatever it is that you chose to do. Personally, they're troublemakers. Don't care to have them as my close personal friends, but they're fun to watch. But anyways, the thing with the reptilians is that they are doing what they came here to do. They're that balance, right?
Yeah,
So whatever they choose to do, it's cool. But the point that you see a reptilian and know it's a reptilian, how do you know that? If you've never ever seen a reptilian before in any of your kabillion lives, how do you know it's a reptilian? There's something in there that has brought you back to that remembering of what that is. Same thing with anything that you're seeing, right? So if you're having an experience, and that's why I said before, if you're having an experience and you're not liking it, why? Because there's something in there that you've either done or you recognize within yourself. Take a look at that. And it's not a bad thing. Reptilians, they get a bad rap. Are they my best friends? No, I don't really care for them. But you know what? More power to them. If that's what's needed to balance, then balance. You know, Pleiadians, they're all arrogant. They're
Hold on, guys, I'm just gonna change tape.
okay. Sorry.
It's around the same
Sure.
ideas.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm
Okay,
settling
so-
in now. Okay.
Okay, so you say that, for example, if someone were to recognize, oh, this is X and Y, I see this person, I know he's a reptilian, and then the reason that you identify that is because you are a reptilian, then, or because you have been at some point
Or
in your
you're
life,
familiar
or
with
familiar
them.
with them because you have
Or
seen
you've
them at some
interacted
point,
them
right.
before. Right.
So that would translate into the idea that everything you experience is just something you've already experienced before. So therefore,
Mm-hmm.
you could ask, then how can you ever have new experiences if everything is just you experiencing what you've already experienced?
or how can you even find meaning in an experience if the whole goal is just to have the experience?
But that's the thing. You're just here to be.
Enjoy the ride, right? Like it's one big roller coaster ride.
I was just
So,
gonna say the slow down.
yeah, like Bill Hicks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I was kind of wondering, what is a reptilian exactly? Is it just somebody that does like negative things, or
Oh, reptilians.
just
They're
like quick, like
Don't read a David Icke book.
Oh, I don't even know who that is. Anyways, just how reptilians, how they are, or how I see them, is just that they're not from this planet. Pleiadians are not from this planet, but they come and I want to say usually they're walk-ins. They usually walk in, and they just, it's like they want to cause trouble. It's just like they're always stirring up trouble. They're always, you know, and they're not usually in a good way. They're usually pretty negative people. They're usually pretty. They always put the spin on something to get you thinking, or they.
one thing I was kind of thinking about that is that, like, you know how you're talking about how like you don't even have to know what they are, but to be able to avoid them, kind of just look at it.
Mhm.
And like I was kind of thinking how that relates to kind of like a biological standpoint, how things can evolve with like preconceived thought patterns and stuff.
Mhm.
So like for example, how like an animal, or like a baby cub will know like what its predators are, will know to run away, just
Yeah.
because like as a thing it's seen that so much.
Exactly.
And like even as humans, we have that. We're, like,
Exactly.
with like a fear of heights, we're just like programmed to be scared of that fear of the dark. because
Well, I
we're
think a
not
lot
supposed
of
to
that,
be
but see, a
dark.
lot of those fears, those come from past lives. You're hanging on to something probably from, usually it's a death. If you're having that, if it's that big of a fear, it's usually you've died somehow that way, or there's a karmic experience when you're having fears. Because generally, a newborn baby, they have no fear. They have no fear.